all things weather to get to. First, a live look at your radar for the region. We're going to cover this. What's going on in Sioux City? We'll get to those live cams in just a moment, but the major thing is this blizzard warning is wreaking havoc on areas of the upper Midwest, and it's going to continue for much of the day. There's a heavier band of snow right here. You can see the gray over in Mobile and making its way over to Sioux City, and actually it's moving more of a northwest uh, direction. This suggests that it's moving northeast, but as you can see, that band is kind of moving heavier towards the northwest. Pretty impressive, to say the least. Let me go ahead and span out here just a little bit. We're going to kind of, don't worry, Sioux Falls, you're not in it. As you can see here, the only thing that you have is the high wind warnings. We do show that the winter weather advisory has been allowed to push further south, so most of that stormy winter-like weather is going to be areas of Vermilion, Dakota Dunes, Sioux City, and then parts southward are going to even all the way down to Omaha area. If you're along I-29, you're all going to be impacted with this crazy uh, snow. So this is a look at how large this system is. Let me go ahead and put that into play. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because we've got a 10-day weather forecast that we want to get to as well. But just be aware of that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the live cameras from all around the region. Look at that. Orange City, pretty much whiteout conditions, obviously. Some icing going on the live cam there. And there's all things crazy going on. So as you can see, 144th and Dodge, Omaha, Nebraska. Some light snow there. Hasn't really picked up a whole lot yet, but the major thing is Orange City, Sioux Center, Iowa. You're starting to see some of that mixing and the icy conditions there. I-90 and Cliff in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I-29 looking east. You guys look pretty good, other than obviously some shaking cameras, to say the least. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's expected for the Twin Cities area. This was updated from the Twin Cities National Weather Service office. As you can see, snowy forecast for that area as well, but most of that is pushed farther south of the Twin Cities and further east. So Rochester area going to be impacted uh, for that region. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the Sioux Falls National Weather Service has. Precipitation timing. This was updated at 4:39 a.m. Central Daylight Time. And as you can see, rain and sleet in areas of Iowa as it pushes through 8 a.m. Now, this obviously is supportive of an update that was a little bit earlier in the morning hours. So I actually see that the 6 a.m. is still kind of where we're looking at. So this is moving a little bit slower, so those amounts could end up being pretty significantly higher than what originally expected in some of those areas, and we'll get to those in just a moment here. Um, as far as the winter weather goes for our region, 4 a.m. to 7 p.m. today for parts of Iowa for the blizzard warning, 1 a.m. to 7 p.m. today for parts of northeast Nebraska, and then 4 a.m. to 7 p.m. today for like areas of extreme southeast South Dakota winter weather advisory. Main headline for the wind today for areas of southeast South Dakota. And we're going to have that blustery wind as well in northwest Iowa, so making for those blizzard-like conditions. Speaking of conditions, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at your 10-day forecast. Here it is. Sioux Falls region, expecting possibility of some snow, but that remains to be seen. I think it's going to be mainly if we do get any rogue cells that move on up here, it's going to be mainly a mix as the temperatures aren't looking too impressive right now, 39 degrees. But if that rain or if that precip should take a little bit longer to make its way up here, then we're more than likely going to see, if anything, just a few very spotty showers. But that's great news for those that didn't want this mess. But 48-mile-an-hour wind gusts, that's going to be pretty impressive for today. And as you look at the 10-day forecast, dry conditions, we still do see some of that northwest winds. We got one or 2 days in that 10-day forecast where we get the breeze from the south or southwest, and not too shabby. Pierre, let's go ahead and take a look at you. Pretty much overall going to be above average highs for your extended 10-day outlook. Precip wise, we really don't look like we're going to have a whole lot going on there. And Aberdeen, South Dakota, again, 40s, 50s, your primary highs. And then obviously some gusty winds over the next few days as we get into the 30s and 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Rapid City, you're looking mighty fine. You got a couple of shots on this weekend for some rain to come through. I don't expect it to be snow. However, look at those lows, 31, 33. If that rain precip should show up a little bit later in the day when we start to cool down, then that rain could obviously switch over to more of a snow, and we'll have to keep an eye on all of that related to the weather. Let's go ahead and take a look at your travel impacts. So this, let me go ahead and get this graphic up in the right area. Here's for today, your impacts. So major impacts for areas of north central Iowa, Twin Cities, don't worry, not too shabby there. Areas like Rochester, Minnesota, that's going to be a major impact to your travel. And then moderate impacts, we've already seen, as you've seen posted on our Facebook channel, uh, some I-80 closures in areas of eastern Nebraska. So moderate impacts to your travel for related to the overall weather impacts that we have. Let's go ahead and quick take a peek at the weather models. Apologize, got backwards here. Timing of all this, let's go ahead and take a look at the GFS. All right, we're going to take a look at that. As you can see, this is around 4 p.m. Pretty much is out of here. This is looking at 7 a.m. based on the GFS. As you can see, that's sleet and ice right there in that major region. We eventually move that towards the northeast into north central Iowa, and areas of Rochester could see some major icing before we start to get into the snowy mess. And that'll move on out of the area. And that's a look at about 10 p.m., so not too shabby. Looking at the NAM, let's look at that timing. Here's a look at 10 a.m. As you can see, it's not as significant of an icing, but more snow is what this puts it at. So it could change over a little bit more quickly. This is a look at 10 p.m. Central Daylight Time, so about the same time really ends up being updated there. Now I want to kind of take a quick peek at the um, the severe weather risks that we have for today. This is going to be impacting areas of Illinois and Indiana over the course of the day. So while we deal with in our region snow and wintry conditions, there is a significant severe weather outlook for areas of Illinois and extreme eastern part of Iowa, which would be like Davenport area. This is a look at 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time according to the HRRR weather model. This is a short range weather model, and so it gets updated on a regular basis. Speaking of which, I believe there's another new update. Yep, there is. This goes 12 hours out here, so I just want to give you the latest that we have from there. So we're looking at, this is about 1 p.m. So areas of concern would be 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Yeah, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. would be this is a look at 7 p.m. where that would be. So areas of concern or time of concern would be 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. We could have those storms. What are the major impacts that are expected today based off of the SPC? Well, we want to take a quick peek at that. Let me go ahead and move on over to that if I get the right graphic here. 1 second. All right, there we go. So this is the latest information from the SPC. And I did not put that graphic up there, but that's okay. All right, so the latest information, overall outlooks, as you can see for today, Illinois areas of major concern would be, let me get my other pinpoint accuracy. So Peoria, Illinois, Decatur, Illinois, Champaign, Illinois, Bloomington, Illinois, Terre Haute, Indiana. Those would be areas that have the biggest concern for your tornado activity. So if you have plans on going along I-74 or I-57, moving on over, or even I-55, moving your way north towards like the Chicago area from the south, that would be a major concern um, for that. Let's go ahead and take a look further. This is tomorrow, really not expecting anything. And Friday, not expecting anything. But there's some things on the horizon farther out, and that is in the deep south is expected to possibly get significant weather impact for severe weather again. I do want to bring back our live weather radar information. And this is the outlook area, significant severe weather, 10%. This is for tornadoes, okay? And Davenport, Iowa, could be a concern for significant uh, risk of tornadoes as well. Let's go ahead and bring up our weather model in here. Gives a little bit of a closer view. I got this on precip, but I want to put a HRRR on this. And again, this is going to impact your day. This is a look at about 6 p.m. As you can see, pretty significant severe weather all along this whole entire line here. Okay. I do want to bring us back to the coverage for the winter weather. Let's go ahead and bring that back up here. All right, as you can see, continuing snowfall is making its way through areas of Iowa. Sioux Center still dealing with much of that icing right there, but not too shabby. So that is the latest look at the weather information, but I want to kind of pinpoint when are these winds going to die down. Does anybody else want to know that? I do. Well, let's go ahead and bring that back up here and see the wind. We'll get to that here. Let's look at the 10-meter wind gusts. All right, this is a look at 10 p.m. today, but right now what I want to kind of look at, most of that wind is going to be, this is around 10 a.m., so it's in the next couple of hours, areas of concern would be that North Platte and Omaha area for the biggest wind gusts. But by the time we get to your 10 p.m., the gusts look to be about 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts in our area. And then by 4 a.m. tomorrow morning, everything's moving on out. Wind gusts are gone. But here we go again. By the evening hours, we have those wind gusts coming on back for areas of our region where we just cannot shake this wind. Look at that number of days back and forth. That is what we got to deal with. Then we get a little bit of a span that's not too shabby by the end of the month. I'm going a little too far out here. This is the 26th. So that is the latest information that we have from the 605 Chaser Studios. So good news for South Dakota. We don't have to deal with a winter mess. Not near as significant, I should say. Bad news for areas of Illinois and eastern parts of extreme eastern parts of Iowa. They have to deal with the severe weather today. And then the west side of Iowa has got to deal with the winter, the tale of two seasons, I say. So I'm going to go get me a shake at one of the great nutrition clubs that I frequently go to. They know my order by name, and they can know yours as well. If you want to make sure that you are set up correctly for whatever your nutritional goals are, check one of them out today. Mission Nutrition, Fit Revolution Nutrition, or Refuel. All three of them open today, March 19th. And they can get your goals smashed and help you get there. Just be aware. They've got a Shark Bite energy bomb that'll give you a blast of energy, but it's enough to help give you focus and not crash later. Has anybody ever had one of those 5 hour energies or the Red Bulls? Well, they got nothing on these guys. So make sure you check them out today. I'm going to go stop there.